I'm Chef Carl Food Whisperer, and today this is my guest Art Fong, and he's a Chinese executive chef here, and he's going to be making a presentation. Art, tell him what you're doing.
Sure. Hello, my name's Art. Thank you for the compliment and calling me executive chef. I'm just a guy who loves to cook, and more importantly, I love to eat. A little background about myself. I've never done this professionally. My dad owned a Chinese restaurant, a mom and pop store, for about 30 years. He would recruit me into the kitchen from time to time, and consequently I learned how to cook on the fly. So today we're going to take you through a walk of making one of my favorite Cantonese dishes. And I think the important thing to note is that this is a stir fry. It is a Cantonese stir fry. But the things that we're going to present today essentially are three things. One is the preparation of the food, the vegetables, the protein, and then two, stir frying those vegetables and protein, and three, preparing the sauce, okay? And that sort of, those steps will apply to any sort of stir fry you choose to make, whether it's Cantonese, Hunan, Sichuan. You just change the meat, you change the vegetables, and you change the protein, and that's how you come up with all these different dishes. My dish today is Moo Goo Gai Pan. Literally translated, that's mushrooms with thin sliced chicken. And so we'll get started, okay?
We'll be right back.
Chef Carl, Food Whisperer, taking the mystery out of cooking.
Okay, we're back now, and let's get on with the show. Art?
What I love about Asian cooking, Chinese cooking, is that it's very easy. From a standpoint of, I'll end up using my chef's knife for everything that we're doing. The first thing I'll be doing is cutting up the protein. In this case, it is white meat chicken breast. And I'll be slicing this on the bias, and what I mean by that is I'll be going against the grain and slicing it at an angle to expose as much of the flesh as possible. Doesn't take long, and just keep your fingers away from the knife, slightly at an angle.
Beautiful.
What you want in the slicing of all of your ingredients is the intention of knowing that your vegetables will all be cooked at the same rate. So softer vegetables like mushrooms would probably be cut thicker as opposed to carrots, which would be thinner. The size of your meat should be thick enough so that it's uniform and will all cook at the same rate. Okay? Okay, what I'm going to do now is to take this chicken and marinate it. Very simply, I'm taking the chicken. I'm going to add to it a cornstarch slurry. And by slurry, I mean equal amounts of cornstarch with water. I stir that up. Pour it over the chicken. And add some oil. In this case, I use peanut oil because that's what I'll be cooking with as well. Very high temperature point. And I just mix it up with my hand, so that each of the chicken pieces gets covered. And we'll let that marinate for a few minutes. By the time I'm through cutting my vegetables, it'll be ready. I pre-cut most of the vegetables already, but I wanted to give you an idea of how to cut each of the vegetables. These are 2 peeled carrots. Cut one of them already. Just like I did with the chicken, I'm cutting them at a bias. Why? Doesn't make it taste any different, but I think it makes it look a little bit more appealing in the dish.
Beautiful. gravity keeps the spinach back, so always safety.
These mushrooms are shitake, which is a beautiful mushroom. I like them because they stay much fresher, much longer than white mushrooms. But we're using both. I'm removing the stems. As you can see, I've cut a number of white button mushrooms already. And like I said previously, I'm cutting them all at the same thickness.
And Art's wiped off the mushrooms ahead of time with like a paper towel or napkin. You don't want to put them in water because they're going to start getting soggy and kind of funky looking.
You can get these shiitake mushrooms at many grocery stores in town here. Valley carries them. It's a lot of mushrooms, but again, it's Moo Goo Gai Pan, which means mushroom chicken. Okay, I've gotten these pea pods, and for those of you who haven't worked with them before, pea pods have a spine in them. Sometimes they're prominent, sometimes on that one I didn't get any, but I have removed the spline on all of those already. And what you want to see is, as you can see right there, there's a spline that goes down the side of the pea pod that you want to remove. And these are all things that you can do well in advance of preparation time. These are bamboo shoots and water chestnuts. They add a nice crispness and texture to the dish. And the last ingredients are chicken stock, ginger, and garlic. I'm going to show you how to trim off and peel your garlic. This is plenty of ginger for this dish. You want to make it stable so you don't cut your fingers. So I cut a nice base on it, and with your knife, just get off as much of the peel as you can. Frankly, you can cook this with the peel on, but most people like to take the peel off, and that's fine, just like that. I maybe try to get in there a little bit and get that off. Okay, at that point I want to cut these into very fine slices. I curl my fingers so I don't cut my fingers.
The aroma is just wonderful coming off that.
Set this aside over here. For the garlic, we'll want about 3 bulbs of this garlic. The way I cut garlic is I take off the root first, which allows me to break up those bulbs off very easily. So 1 big one, 2, 3 big bulbs of garlic. I'm smashing them so that I can peel them easily. You smelling that?
Oh, you just dinged.
That is my rice. I resisted for most of my life from using an automatic rice cooker, but I have found that using a rice cooker makes rice cooking much more flawless and less wasteful. So there's our garlic.
And what kind of rice do you prefer, Art?
I'm actually making Japanese Botan rice. Of course, you can use long grain or basmati. So now we're prepared to cook. I've been heating up this wok. You might have heard it in the background for the last 5 to 10 minutes. A wok, this is a thick cast iron wok, because what's important is that when you cook your protein, that wok, you want to sear that meat so the juices stay in. And on this particular stove, we've actually removed the cap off of one of the burners because it allows that gas to directly come out You have to use a lighter to light that flame. But that wok is very, very hot right now. I can demonstrate that by pouring in just a little bit of oil, and you'll see that it immediately starts dancing in there, letting you know that that wok is very hot already. You can see it, and it's smoking already, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pre-cook the vegetables. And I'm cooking the vegetables in the order that they will cook the fastest, or the slowest actually. Carrots taking the longest time. All in all though, I'm probably just going to cook the carrots for 1 minute prior to putting in the mushrooms. Gonna let that sit for a bit. Don't be scared to use oil in Chinese cooking. I'm now putting in the pea pods.
This is looking so colorful already and smells great, folks. I wish you were here.
As you can see, once you combine all these vegetables together, you end up with quite a bit of food. This will end up serving 3 to 4, maybe even 5 people. And it's important to note, although this recipe is for Moo Goo Gai Pan, as I had alluded to earlier, you can use whatever vegetables you have around. We like to go to a farmer's market, pick up whatever's fresh that week, and use it in the stir fry. At this point, I'm going to add a little bit of water just to get these vegetables steaming a little bit. And as you can see, with this very hot wok, that water gets boiling immediately. You don't want to overcook your vegetables. You just want to get them, I guess blanched would be the word. And once they're there, I'm going to take them out and cook, in this case chicken, but whatever protein you've chosen for your dish. We've been cooking this for about 3 minutes now. So at this point, I'm going to take those vegetables out. Because once I cook the chicken, I'm going to be putting the vegetables back in to cook just for a bit more. Getting out all the water. Let that wok get hot again, and we'll be cooking the chicken. I think it's important to note, as a matter of fact, I had forgotten to put in the water chestnuts and bamboo shoots. No panic, I'll put them in at the next step, they'll get cooked just as well. So once we see that wok get hot enough again, I'll be cooking the chicken. It's important to note though that you definitely want to let this wok get hot enough.
So, this is just a wonderful dish. I've never cooked Chinese before. And art in its preparation, making sure everything's prepped, and the way you slice the vegetables and the chicken, it can, even somebody like I can make it. So, Art, take over.
So I'm going to take, again, peanut oil. I'm going to test that wok to see if it shimmers, which tells me that the wok is hot enough. Almost there. As you recall from the last time we did the vegetables, it started smoking immediately. So I'm going to wait just a minute more. Regarding woks, like I said before, this is a thick cast iron wok. It holds heat much longer. This is a well-known brand. It's a Lodge cast iron wok, so available many places. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but you see the smoke coming off the wok right now. So it's ready to cook the chicken. I'm going to take the oil up the sides of that wok, because what I'm going to do is to place the chicken along the sides of the wok so that each piece of chicken has some contact with the wok. And then, once I get the chicken placed so that every piece of chicken is touching the wok, I'm going to leave it because I want to get just a little bit of sear on each piece of chicken. You definitely want to hear that the frying of the chicken. Once you see the chicken starting to get white around the edges, and you can see some of that happening now, that's the way you want your chicken to look. That's in the middle, so that's getting a little bit browner quicker. I am turning this chicken in an effort to cook both sides evenly. I'm actually in favor of dark meat chicken usually, but the traditional way of making Moo Goo Gai Pan is with white meat chicken. I'm going to take the ginger and the garlic, put it in the dish, and once this sits for just a little bit longer to get the other side of the chicken cooked. Not cooked all the way through. Again, once we put in the vegetables, we're going to be stir frying it for a couple minutes more. And I want to get the taste of that ginger and that garlic infused into the chicken. Water chestnuts and bamboo shoots, they really are cooked already, so they didn't need to be in the previous process anyway. But I'm going to stir them in now just to get them warmed up. Putting in the vegetables. Saving that broth. During the stir frying, I don't want to have a lot of water in the wok. But as you can see, the dish is coming together nicely. We haven't put in any of the spices for the sauce yet. Alright, at this point we're going to make the sauce. I'm going to pour 3/4 cup chicken stock in there. A little bit of sugar. This is sesame oil, 1.5 teaspoons. Teaspoon of soy sauce. little bit of white pepper. For those of you that like to measure, maybe a quarter teaspoon. I'm not a big measuring person. Stir that into the sauce. Notice that I'm mixing it into the liquid of the chicken stock at the bottom. And once that gets boiling, we're going to thicken that sauce. And we thicken that sauce by creating a slurry of cornstarch and water, which is a wonderful thickening agent. It adds a nice sheen to the dish. Even parts of water and cornstarch. And you'll see that once I put this into the sauce, as it boils, it'll thicken the sauce. Note that the sauce, once you take the dish out of the wok, it will thicken more as well. So I don't want to get it too thick right now. That's about good enough right there. I'm going to mix it all together. Turn off my flame. And there you have Moo Goo Gai Pan. Nice. This is quite a bit. I wish they had smell-o-vision because you would smell the hint of sesame oil and ginger coming off this dish right now. Very nice. And there we have it. Moo Goo Gai Pan. If you wish, you can garnish this to make it a little bit more attractive. That's a little bit of parsley. And we have our rice over here. So, it's time to enjoy. Abbondanza.
So, you did a great job, Chef.
Thank you.
And this was Chef Carl Food Whisperer saying, don't forget to watch our videos, subscribe. I'd like to thank the police, the fire, all the first responders, our military, and please be safe out there. And I'm looking for a sponsor.
Woo.
Okay, bye. Let's eat.